So how would you describe what a Sony superhero movie is? I think we all kind of know quite clearly what a Marvel one is and a DC one, even though the DC one is a little bit less formulated. But
Well,
I don't think,
only because they keep redoing it. My take on what a Sony Marvel movie is a bit controversial. So, like, make sure you're sitting down. Don't take any sips of water because you're going to spit them everywhere. Because here we go. I think they're class.
what else have Sony done?
And Madam Web, which is like, don't let the haters bring you down. It's
I've
brilliant.
seen a good chunk of Venom Web. It is really bad.
No, I know, but it's bad at a level where it's just like thrilling. Like you want to see what they get wrong next. Like the main villain, most of his dialogue is ADR'd in while he's in frame facing the camera, so you can see his mouth move and different lines come out. It's like you can't ADR that. Once he's looking at the camera, you're like that's you can't fuck with that. Um, the product placement climax where the final battle is on a giant Coca-Cola sign, which then falls and kills the villain. Awesome.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Sydney Sweeney's in it. She plays a nerd, and it's like that's hilarious. It's like no,
Yeah,
she's
I
not.
remember the scene where they get up on the table in the diner and start
Yeah,
dancing.
but that scene doesn't really happen.
That's a dream.
No, it happens, and then someone comes in and kills them all, and then
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson wakes up and goes, "That hasn't happened yet," and then runs and makes sure none of it happens.
Ah, it was like Final Destination.
It's like the Final Station. Yes, exactly, but there's no second murder down the road. They just carry on with their lives and fight on a big Coke sign. And
Okay.
at the end of the movie, I'm pretty sure she's blind and in a wheelchair for some reason.
Sydney Sweeney.
Dakota Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, she gets blinded at the end, and that just means she can't see the now, but she can see the future, right?
But isn't she the spider or something?
No, she's Madam Web.
Yeah, the Spider-Man, Spider-Woman.
No, she's Madam Web.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
No, Sydney Sweeney is Spider Woman, and so are the other two girls. And
Oh, they
her,
have many Spider-Women.
there's many such Spider Women, and the
Like we have
point,
more than one Spider-Man.
no, not like that at all,
Why? Why not?
because there's only one Spider Man at a time.
Okay.
There's
Whereas
three
this
Spider
is
Women in this movie.
okay. What do you call a group of spiders? Like, you say a flock of birds or a murder of crows.
A web of spiders.
It could well be that.
It's probably not, but like, doesn't that sound better than whatever?
It's probably something a lot weirder.
I think that's better though.
So they have the Spider-Man IP.
Yes, and the rumor was for a long time they couldn't use Spider-Man. They could only use the other characters in that universe. Very recently, that rumor was debunked as untrue. They could have put Spider-Man in any of these at any time, but chose not to, which, like, retrospect makes the whole thing so much more interesting to me.
Well, why would they not be allowed to use Spider-Man? What sense does that make?
As in the deal they had with Marvel, because obviously Marvel could put their Spider-Man in the Avengers movies, and they'd get they get a cut of all that.
Yeah.
So, but the belief was in return they couldn't just have a second Spider-Man running concurrently with that, right?
Ah, okay.
So to license Tom Holland to Marvel means they couldn't use
Mhm.
Tom Holland at the same time. Turns out that wasn't true, and they could have put Tom Holland in Venom 3 the whole time, but they didn't. And I think Venom, especially, is like better off for having no connection to Spider-Man because it just means the whole thing is kind of nonsense.
Sure. I mean, I think that's a great part to get into our show, but this is still our cold open. How do we remedy this?
Do you know any jokes?
No, I don't.
What do you call a spider who can steal your data?
Give me a minute while I think about this.
No, no, it's got to be punchy, Sean.
But sorry, you've asked me a question. You've got to give me a chance to respond.
No, it's not a question. It's a joke.
A spider, they can steal your data. A
It's a
web
web hacker.
something?
It's a web hacker.
Well, sorry, nobody says web hacker.
They did back when this website was made
When
that
was
I'm
this?
currently on. Did you hear about the spider who ate the fly?
No.
He was a real buzzkill.
That one's good. I
Yeah,
think we can, yeah, that's good. We'll go into
Should-
the intro music now. Great,
that was
we
yeah,
nailed that
perfect.
cold
Yeah,
open.
yeah.
Hello and welcome to Love It or Slate It with Sean and James, a movie podcast where we talk about movies that we love, hate, and feel indifferently about when we're stuck for content, of course. Um, but we have a twist that makes our movie podcast totally unique and different from all the other ones on the section of the internet that is podcasting apps.
Yeah, no, you mean you said that weird, I would say. But I mean, it's funny how again you've done this so many times now. I've noticed you have a script for when you're doing an intro, and I
Yeah,
have a script when I'm doing an intro, and they're not the same. I think
I'm
that's
pretty
really
sure
funny.
they're quite close.
No, but they're not. And it's
But
like,
what's the twist?
what's the twist in our
Yeah,
podcast? Great
yeah.
question, Sean. Our twist is that each episode can only run for exactly 30 minutes with an allowance for the bit at the top where we riff and the bit at the end where we sort of wind down. So the 30 minutes of film chat in the middle, that's on a timer. And once the timer goes off, we have to stop talking about the film and just say our goodbyes and plug our email. We have an email, don't we, Sean?
We have an email, yeah. We have a website as well. We usually plug the website.
Give it a
Um,
plug.
yeah, it's loveiterslatedpodcast.com. It's also in the show notes, a link if you don't want to have to type that into your browser. And
Great.
there you can find out more about the podcast and also a contact form through which you can send us hate mail and requests and stuff like that.
In the other order, though, like really, I think prioritize requests over hate mail.
Yeah, and if you're really stuck for something to send, even a positive comment.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was a third thing. No, I thought we did at the start because we
Can
always
I
forget to
say,
do it at the end.
James,
Oh,
before we go into this further, you've got a real like presentery quality about you. It's very good. You should lean into that. Maybe you should become some sort of presenter.
is this like, are you setting something up here?
No, no, I'm just as a compliment. You can do the kind of like quick talking thing that presenters do without getting lost.
No, I
When I
get
tried to do that,
lost.
I immediately get lost. Hey,
Yeah,
well,
but
sure, you might get lost, but you recover it.
I
I
think
shut down.
and I do mean this as a genuine compliment. You're going to take it as an insult. It's a compliment.
Mm.
The absolute beating heart of our podcast is when you start a point, get distracted, and we never get the answer to that first thing. Because it just adds an element of like je ne sais quoi naturalism that most podcasts don't have because most of them are like a lot more structured than we are and have like,
You say that most of the successful ones are
yeah,
a lot more
sorry.
structured than we are.
You mean most of the other successful ones.
Yes, the other successful ones. What
Yeah.
defines success? More than 10 monthly listeners, then we're successful, I guess.
Like, don't say that out loud. They can obviously see that, but that's for them to find, not for us to announce. Um, should we talk about a movie, Sean?
Yeah,
Go
maybe.
on.
It's
What do
kind
you
of
mean?
questionable whether or not we should be talking about this week's movies. Venom.
Uh,
Venom 2, in fact.
Venom
Do
2,
you know?
Let There Be
Ah,
Carnage.
fuck the timer. Let me set it because
Ha
we just mentioned the movie name.
uh, uh,
30 minutes.
okay. Is it that rigorous always? Does it have to be like on the
Oh
moment?
yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I think we should start it earlier than later for Venom.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I'm
It's
ready to go.
started now, so you're good
Like
to
just to set the stage. I saw the new Jurassic Park this morning, Jurassic World
Mm.
Rebirth. Very much in the mood for some
It's
Venom
called
chatter.
Rebirth.
It's called Jurassic World Rebirth. It's the fourth one. Nothing is
Rebirth
reborn.
is sorry. I for some reason thought rebirth was the same word as afterbirth. So got a
No,
bit grossed out by the
but I will
Jurassic
say
Park name.
there is no rebirth or birth of any kind in this film. It's just the
Afterbirth?
dinosaurs are nope, nothing birth themed. The dinosaurs are just still around.
Yeah.
And what basically happens is there's a scene at the start where a dinosaur kills a dude. You're like, slay, cool, fun. And then Scarlett Johansson is hired by a private military corporation to go with the
Scarlett
military.
Johansson.
Johansson, yeah, it's not Johansson.
No, she's not Swedish.
I think.
I'm sure it is like a fucking
Sorry, what,
Scandinavian
sorry.
name,
Yeah, I was gonna
but it's
say
very
it's
much
not.
Johansson the way she
I
says it.
have I've been calling her Scarlett Johansson for the entire time we've been doing this
Scarlett
podcast.
Johansson. You
Yeah,
can't. No.
I can. Sean,
Anyway,
I
Scarlett, who plays Scarlet Witch in a
no, she does
superhero
not. No,
movie.
she doesn't.
That's
That's
Elizabeth
Elizabeth Olsen.
Olsen.
She
She
plays the
plays
Black
Black
Widow.
Widow.
Yeah, she
Yes.
does. In this, she plays Zora, who is a person whose job is deliberately vaguely defined because she's sent on a mission
Mm.
with a bunch of military dudes to go to an island and get some samples, and it quickly becomes a whole MCU James Cameron Avatar aesthetic with some dinosaurs slammed in, where it's all
Friend
just
of the show,
guns.
James Cameron.
Love James Cameron, but it becomes a guns and goons thing, and you're just like,
Okay.
oh, I'm pretty.
Mm.
Guns and Goons has become like the default of all studio blockbusters these days, which is why, and this is where I was going. There was a whole segue here going on. I
Yeah.
think Venom 2 is an extremely refreshing bit of faff.
You say that, you
Yeah, I do.
say
Yeah,
that.
I do say that.
I was a little bit wondering why you had just started talking about a whole other movie
But you haven't seen
at the
either.
intro to the Venom.
I'm pretty sure you haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth either.
No, no, but
Afterbirth.
no, but I will. I'm going to see it next weekend or maybe
Why?
during this week because of your stellar review.
I I I, I quite liked it. I just
Okay,
but
that's good enough.
but I preferred Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage because this is a superhero. This is a comic book blockbuster movie that feels almost allergic to the usual tropes and formula. And I'll get into what I mean by that because it does adhere to quite a few cliches, but I'll get into what I mean by that a
Yeah.
little bit later. Because there are things
And
it
my
does differently.
disclaimer I would like to get out of the way is
Yeah.
I do my 30 minutes of preparation, usually 30 minutes before we start recording. And what I immediately figured out is there's three of these movies. I did
Yes.
not know there were three of these movies.
Well, this is the second one.
I knew it was the second one. I did not know there was a third one. I thought this movie came out last year.
No, this no, it did not.
Came out in like 2021.
Yes, Venom 3, The Last Dance came out last year, and just to I'll quickly because I've seen it. I imagine you haven't.
No,
It
and I
is one
haven't seen
of
the first one either.
Venom 3, The Last Dance is relative to its budget, one of the weirdest films I've ever seen. Like
Is it
right up there. It's very strange. It's about spoiler alert, it's about it's the Logan of the Venom franchise.
I saw the trailer. It definitely doesn't look like a Logan-esque movie.
No, it's not good. It's like actively quite bad, but it's like got a really morbid, somber tone, and it's all like them saying preparing to say goodbye to each other because Venom has to like do this thing that will require him to, terminate or whatever. And the whole
But
and the
I
whole
thought at
the
the
whole
end of
thing is
this
played
movie,
like yeah, go on.
the
Sorry.
end of this movie, it sets up a Spider-Man movie
Yeah,
with
but
Venom. That just
yes.
doesn't happen.
Well, the post-credit scene here is he goes into the Spider-Man universe, right?
Yeah.
And the post-credit scene of the next Spider-Man movie is him getting thrown right back out again. So the
Oh,
arc,
really?
yes, the post-credit scene teases him coming in, and the next post-credit scene is him getting kicked out again in the same bar.
That's
Quite
incredibly
funny.
cheap.
No, it's funny.
Oh, come on. You can't tee
It's
something up like that.
but I don't want this strange aberration of a Tom Hardy Venom thing to meet Tom Holland doing his whole shtick. Like these movies should be in their own isolated little silo of B movie hammer horror. No?
Okay. My issue is
Yeah,
it still has to check the boxes of a
I
superhero movie.
disagree. But
And it does
tell
that
me the boxes.
with Carnage.
Tell me outline the specific boxes, and I'm gonna push you a little bit because I have a
It
thing.
has to have that three act structure. It has to have the big bad. It has to have all those action scenes in there. And what's the thing where you put something off because you don't want to do it? What's that called? Procrastinates. It procrastinates it for a good hour of the movie, which is much appreciated because the best parts are the parts that are nothing to do with an action movie
I
or a
agree,
superhero movie.
and we'll
But
get
it
to that in a
has to do
moment.
them.
We'll get to that in a moment because I agree the best parts of this movie are Tom Hardy and Tom Hardy doing their strange,
Yeah.
hilarious thing. But
It's an hour
finish.
before he even breaks out of jail.
I know.
That should happen in the first act.
No. But see that's the interesting thing because what you're doing now is trying to force a three-act structure onto what I would argue
No, I'm
is
okay
actually
with that.
no. But what I would say.
Sorry, I'm shouting. I don't know
It's
why
fine.
I'm
I don't know
shouting.
why this has gotten so heated so fast. Calm down, Sean. Sean's drinking a beer for everyone who's just listening right now. He's like swigging one while just like shouting about the
One
plot
beer on
structure of
a
Venom.
Sunday afternoon is it's okay.
Just
I'm within
like
my weekly units.
you're okay. I'm not gonna we're not gonna get into that on the podcast. We'll hit pause, we'll get into your weekly units and then we'll come back. No, I think this is less a three-act superhero movie and more a WrestleMania headliner fight that gets built up for an hour. They only fight once. They only do the one thing at the end, and it's a 10-minute fight scene. Most of this movie is the promise of Venom v Carnage for one night only, right? This
Sure.
isn't this isn't an action movie where they fight in the first act, Carnage beats Venom, and he has to pick himself back up to fight again. This is just Venom getting his shit together, Carnage getting his shit together because we know at the end all the toys on one side, all the other toys on the other side are going to be smashed at each other for 10 minutes. And that's
No,
the
I
promise.
disagree actually. I said sure two seconds ago, but I actually
Okay.
disagree. I don't think this movie gives a shit about the big final battle. I think this movie is doing its own thing with Venom and Tom Hardy, who are much the same person actually, but they're just doing random shit around New York City.
Yes, it's
It's
great.
nice that it's set in New York City. Is that a Spider-Man thing to set
Yeah.
them in New York City instead of
It,
like Los Angeles?
why do you keep saying New York City?
Because that's the name of New York City.
But when you listen to this back, you'd like said like three times in rapid succession there. It was
I don't
like it
want
was
anyone to get lost and be wondering what city are they talking about.
yeah, because fame that's the thing they'll be lost about in this total train of thought podcast. Um no, but I would suggest to
And
that
it
that
feels like then at the very end they're like, oh fuck, we need to do that big final boss battle fight scene, and they do it. But I don't think they ever wanted to have to do it.
so here's my read on that, which is that Kelly Marcel, who worked in the first film, was upgraded to sole screenwriter of this film. It's only got one writer on it, which is like very rare
An
for a
auteur
superhero film.
piece.
Hear me out, all right? Kelly's the writer, story by Kelly and Tom Hardy.
I saw that.
Tom is very active in the storyline.
Tom has
He's
been
no,
procrastinating a second season of Taboo by doing Venom
he has,
movies.
but no, but all three like I'm pretty he's like very active in this one and The Last Dance. I think the two of them, Kelly and Tom. This is only my theory, but I think it kind of tracks in this one versus the other two, particularly this one versus one and
Hmm.
three. Is that Hardy and Marcel are very interested in giving Hardy things to do as the two Venoms, as Venom and
Hmm.
Eddie, while Andy Serkis, who signed on as the director, was much more
Yes.
interested in developing a fight between Venom and Carnage that would utilize their different movements, right? I think he spoke about this, where Venom is a big brute and a heavy, while Carnage is more like acrobatic and sort of splinters and tendrils and things. And I think Circus's main interest and his bait into the film is choreographing the mocap for that big fight. So it's almost like Hardy and Marcel get to do their thing in Act Two, and then Circus runs in Act Three and goes, "Now WrestleMania, Venom v Carnage, one night only, ding ding ding."
I
That's
don't
my
know.
read of how this happened.
I think that, I think Circus must be a bit interested in the whole
Say it.
representation of superego and id that is Venom
Is that what you're
and
calling
Tom
it?
Hardy. That's what to slap a bit of Freudian theory on it. You have the id, which is all this basic primal impulses, Venom, and the
Yeah.
superego, which is the thing that's totally concerned with social perception and social rules,
Yes.
which is Tom Hardy. And they're battling it out. They are together kind of representing the ego.
I'm glad you said it rather than me because I think you're 100% correct. I do think that is genuinely probably the intention, but you can't
Well,
say that without sounding like an idiot. But I think you're right. I think that is like
no,
at a
I think
primitive
they,
level the
and I
gag.
think the problem with that is you get, I talked about Zizek when you said you wanted to do,
Yes.
um, so Zizek does his thing where he puts these types of readings on all different movies where you didn't expect it to be there. The problem with this one is I think everyone is so completely aware that that's what they're doing that it's impossible to miss.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work as well. It's too forced.
Okay, what do you think of the the romantic component of the relationship between Eddie and Venom? I can see this is occurring to you in real time. This is a major reading of
No,
the
no,
film,
no, no,
which
because it's also mentioned in the movie. Venom has his coming out party,
yeah,
right?
at like a pride rave. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Is that Venom not knowing what he's talking about, or is Venom actually coming out?
They also live together with two chickens called Sonny and Cher.
Okay.
Do you
So
take my
Venom is
point?
actually coming out.
I think so. Like you know when they have their big fight at the end of Act One,
Yeah.
and like first of all, like that's a great physical comedy set piece. Hardy being flung around the room, smashing everything, the TV, everything. Like that's
Yeah,
a
it's
really
okay.
well. I think it's very funny. I think it's a really well considered little bit of slapstick in a
They
franchise that very
introduced some
rarely.
things that I didn't know from the first movie there, such as him being sensitive to sound,
Yeah,
which was nice. I appreciated that. They did it quite organically in that scene. And then in the final boss scene, they shouted at you again just before they ring the bell,
Yeah, you mean the Fight
which
Night bell because it's a WrestleMania match, right?
sure.
See, it all comes
I
together.
didn't, we got it from that initial
I,
fight scene.
I,
Us of those
Sean,
of us who hadn't seen the first movie, I didn't
yeah,
need
but
them to say, by the way, he's super sensitive to fire and
yeah, but
sound.
Sean, you got it, but you also studied film.
I studied film so that I'd be able to understand how Venom works.
Yeah, but Andy Serkis has all but said the LGBTQIA plus components of the film are very deliberate. Like they like that is like the original title of the film. The film wasn't always called Venom Let There Be Carnage.
What was
It
it?
was initially titled, and this is a brilliant title. Venom, Love Will Tear Us Apart was the original title of the film. Like the Joy Division
Oh,
song.
like the joy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
But it's like they literally get torn apart. Right? Love will tear us
Yes.
apart. And I'm like, that's like I know you have to plug the Carnage fight, but
You know,
that's better.
they could probably have. Also, this kind of contradicts. You know, they're very. Well, no, well, it doesn't really contradict it. Never mind. I'm thinking out loud here, but I think. What the fuck do I think? I don't think they pushed that side of it as much as they could have.
But at the end of the film, they're on honeymoon together.
Yeah, but they it's always like a joke.
No, it's
It's
not.
always a
It's
joke. It
very sincere.
always is a
It's
joke.
very earnest. I
It's
think it is genuinely.
always like, oh, they don't even realize it, but they're basically a couple.
No, I think by the end they fully know they're a couple. I think that's the. I think they know throughout. Their big fight, the one that I said was good physical comedy. It's like it's a domestic spot, right?
Yeah,
And then their other friends intervene. Like some of them are on Eddie's side, some of them are on Venom's side to talk them into sort of coming back together and speaking again. Like it is a comedy, but I don't think
yeah.
it's. I don't think the idea. I don't think the relationship is the joke. I think the ludicrousness of them being an alien and a human is the joke, right? But I don't think I think the actual bond is played fairly straight in at the core of it all.
I disagree. I mean, I think there's always this kind of running thread through it. It's like they don't know it comes across like this.
No, I think I don't agree with that. I think it's played as a lover spat.
It's played as a lover spat.
No, as in like they are having like not as in like it's not. Hey, this kind of looks like a lover spat. This is a romantic clash. This is a relationship. It's not. It looks like a relationship. It is one. They're living together. They have two chickens, Sonny and Cher. Come on.
Sure, but I think I disagree that it's played straight.
Well, you need to. Well, it's not played straight at all. That's the whole point.
No, it's always just a
You didn't
punchline
get
of a joke.
you didn't get what I was doing there.
Oh, sorry, that was very clever. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah. Maybe I would recommend checking out Venom 3 Let the Last Dance because if there's any ambiguity whatsoever in your soul, that's all gone in part 3, baby.
Okay, okay. Well, maybe you should have fucking told me that before we recorded the
No,
podcast.
it's pretty bad. It goes if you think this one is too in on the joke, Venom the Last Dance is like far too up. It's like it's trying to laugh along with the audience and that doesn't work, you know?
So the first movie was them not getting it, but having aspects of this. This one was like
Oh,
what
people
people are
like
saying is the
yeah.
perfect balance of leaning into that, but not, overdoing it. And then you're saying the third one is they just completely overdo it.
Yeah, they're way overdo it. And the sci-fi element. I think and you won't agree. This movie
Okay.
is helped a good bit by the fact that Woody Harrelson is playing the plot at the center of the plot half of the film because he's
Hmm.
quite ridiculous. He's charismatic in a very hammy way that fits the tone,
Yeah.
right? And he fits that B movie tone, and that's the thing that keeps the film balanced. Because again, if you
But
take
he
after
maybe
a
fits the B movie tone a bit. He also very much fits the superhero movie.
he does, but
Uh,
if you take that the superhero movie elements have to be in there, right? Because that's just what the genre is. He
yeah.
makes that he's the bridge between the superhero elements and the real intended tone of the film, right? Without
Mhm.
him, it's a very generic sci-fi plot tacked onto Venom and Eddie having a bit of a falling out. Love will tear us apart becomes let there be carnage, right?
Okay, sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
Kind
it
of.
does. A question about Woody Harrelson. Do you think it was intentional casting? based on his previous movies? Like, do you think they put him in there as a serial killer because he's the guy who was in Natural Born Killers?
Yes,
Okay. Do
Ruben
you think they
Fleischer.
were doing that with
Well,
any of the other actors?
the director of Venom 1 was Ruben Fleischer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he directed Zombieland. So he had a
Ah,
working connection with Woody. Woody Harrelson's in the post-credit scene of Venom 1.
okay.
So Ruben said he cast Woody because he knew him, but also because of Natural Born Killers. He did specifically name that film. So
Ah, okay, cool.
it is a conscious thing. You are correct.
Ah, it's
Well
nice
done,
to be
Sean.
right.
Yeah, isn't it? It's nice to be like conclusively like this isn't an opinion. I'm correct. Um,
Do you think they
but
were doing it with anyone else? Because I I have to say, Stephen Graham was a bit fucking random in this movie.
I think Stephen Graham looks so lost, but if he didn't look so lost, it wouldn't the character be boring, right?
Sure.
Again, it
But
sort of
why
play.
is he in this movie at all?
I don't know, and I don't have an answer for you there.
Completely
But
unused for someone who's
I
as good
think
an actor as he is.
the more his star profile rises, the funnier this movie becomes in retrospect for having him as a random cop in like a film that doesn't in any way need a cop, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why is there a detective on the case? This has nothing
Also,
to do with that.
him and Harrelson had some really god-awful toupees in this movie.
You should go back and Google the Venom 1 post-credit scene. Harrelson's
Yeah.
toupee was worse there than it is in this film. They toned
It
it down considerably.
didn't even bother to like color match
No, not at
his
all. They just slapped it on him. It's great. Again, it is pure 60s hammer
I
horror.
guess they
It's
tried to make it a
block.
little bit more red so it would match Carnage. I don't know.
I like yeah, I think that is genuinely the idea. Um
One
yeah.
thing that I made a note of, I thought it was really cool that when Venom, I know Red Venom is what I wrote, which is Carnage. He hacks a computer in one part of the movie.
Yeah.
He hacks it, and the way there's the stereotypical screen visualization of hacking, which is a load of numbers and visualizations.
Yeah, yeah.
When he hacks the movie in this, it just turns into like one of those preset iMovie slideshows. You know
Yeah.
the one for like the horror movies with the font that comes up and everything. It just looked like that.
Yeah, it's great.
It was very confusing.
It's truly impossible to know just how much this film is in on its own joke, right? I think there's a blurring there of how much of this is just like very sloppy versus deliberately sort of,
Yeah,
schlock, right?
yeah.
But I agree. I think a lot of this film is, for one reason or another, absolutely hilarious. There's a moment early on when Stephen Graham.
I have to say about finding it funny. Initially, I was not loving the back and forth with
Oh no.
Venom and Tom Hardy for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
And then
I
it started working for me.
There's a moment early on when Stephen Graham is like pushing Eddie into like meeting Cletus, and Eddie
Yeah.
agrees and then goes to Stephen Graham, so deadpan, you don't deserve nice things, which is like the best. Like that, like, it's not you're a dick or screw you. It's you don't deserve nice things. Like what turn of phrase is that for that situation? But I have a question for you. Do you think
Go.
when they cast Tom Hardy as Venom, they had any inclination this is where he was going to go with it? Like the voice, the tics, everything. Or is that something he decided to do because it's
Well, I
very
mean,
unconventional?
we've got to remember directors do exist. Like a
Sure.
director should be able to like rein him in a bit if that's not what they were happy with.
Well, if you watch Venom 1, he's meant to be like a respected journalist, but he's incredibly sweaty, can't really make eye contact
I
or
thought
speak.
the whole point was he was like an awful journalist.
He is in the second one, but in the first one he's like legitimate. But he's very sweaty. He doesn't make eye contact. He stammers. When Venom
Yeah.
gets into him first, he starts like there's a moment in the first one where he overheats in a restaurant, so he climbs into the lobster tank. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
very odd stuff, and like a man who like you wouldn't want to meet in public. And I'm
Yeah.
like and it doesn't always feel like the script of the first one intended for that to be who this person was. And I'm wondering.
Well, you have to imagine in the script there was a scene where he overheats and dips his head in a lobster tank.
And Hardy just dived in. Sorry, he
So,
doesn't dip his head in, Sean. He climbs into it fully. He
sure, but
submerges himself.
I mean that must have been in the script. That must have been the intention all along. There's no way you improvise that.
I don't know, man. It's really weird. It's a really weird performance.
I don't. I know that Hardy is inclined to try things with his roles. With Bane, the whole Bane voice
Yeah, which is
was
great. A great
Hardy's
invention.
idea.
Yeah.
And I can see that he was kind of maybe playing with voices in this, in terms of Venom's voice, but also his. We talked about these kind of weird American accents that British actors sometimes do.
Yeah.
It's not unrealistic, but it's pushing a lot of weird. It's hitting a lot of weird notes. It's got that kind of stammering. It's
I would
stumbling over
say, yeah.
words, speaking really quickly, high pitched,
I would
strangely.
say it's less unrealistic than just entirely inappropriate for the film it's in, right?
Also, for his physicality.
Yeah, like why is he so high pitched and trembly and yet meant to be our action star? They definitely cast Tom Hardy
But
thinking
he
they were getting
like they can't.
Locke.
It kind of worked in with Aaron Taylor Johnson in Kick-Ass, and it kind of worked in Wanted with James McAvoy. But Tom Hardy is
This is another level.
insanely massive and muscular and intimidating looking.
They definitely thought they were getting Locke, but with superheroes, and they ended up getting Tom Hardy. Just has so gone off on one, and I think the appeal of this for him is that it's a totally unreserved performance. There's no filter. There's nothing here for us to hold back on. Every
I
take he's ever
haven't
wanted to
done my
try is in this.
due diligence of research on this episode, I'll admit.
Okay.
But I would be curious to see what it's like to hear Tom Hardy talk about this in press junkets.
He's really passionate about it, dude. Like really passionate about these films. He's like it's not a story by credit because he came in for a day. He spends months working with Kelly Marcel, right, like developing the ideas for them. He's really
Really,
into it. Yeah.
that's really interesting.
Isn't it? Like and then you're asking yourself what is the appeal? And I think it's just because
Because
it lets him do
sometimes he can
anything.
be a bit serious in his press junkets
Not on this
about
not for
roles and
Venom.
movies. But he's kind of aware that it's silly, right?
He must be. He does those voices. He
Yeah,
must be
right.
aware. Yeah.
Well, you never know with actors though. They can get just so
Can
lost in a
you
rabbit hole.
can you give me your best Venom impression? Just him saying Eddie.
No, I can't though. We've clearly established neither of us do voices and impressions on this
Exactly. So
show.
if you try it, I'll do it.
No, I'm
Eddie.
not doing that.
Eddie.
That was
It's great.
that
It's
was pretty
good.
good
It was
actually. Yeah.
Eddie. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And it's like it's clearly like Yoda sounds like a dad reading a storybook to his kid for bed and doing the voice of the monster in the book. It's like
It does.
it's really put on gravel, Like it's
Yeah.
way pushed. Eddie. It's fucking stupid.
It's very stupid. My issue, just to be negative, um, it's kind of forgettable.
It is, except for Venom himself. Like the Hardy performance, I think, permeates.
Yes, and I came away from it with a couple of impressions of that movie was stranger than I was expecting. It seemed like it never wanted to be a superhero
Can
movie.
you
That was curious.
could you tell us your expectations for it?
Well, you told me it was like
Worth
singular.
what? It is singular.
I, yeah,
I mean, it's
and
part two of three, but it's singular.
it was singular. It was singular, and at its time, incredibly singular because we had just, I mean, it wasn't long after the last
It
Avengers movie.
so there's the Avengers movie, Endgame, then COVID, then Venom, Let There Be Carnage. So
Exactly.
something happened in the middle there, you might say.
Yeah.
And everyone got a bit weirder.
Yeah. And we were also just like, it was, I think the genre has desaturated a little bit in years since, but
Mm,
I think it was peak saturation at the point this came out.
yeah, I think so.
So I can imagine if you watched it in cinemas after having just watched a load of fucking Avengers movies and all the side movies alongside Avengers movies, the individual superhero movies
Mm,
that are, again, mainly Marvel at that time was dominating, right?
yeah.
I mean, we had the Joker movie, I guess, but the Justice League as well, but you
Joker made
know,
over 1 billion.
no, Joker did very well. Justice League, which was more like the DC response to the Avengers, didn't do. I mean, I'm sure it did financially well.
No, no, it was a bomb. It was a disaster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
It
there was
kind
the
of
whole.
feels like a
Well,
Titanic movie, and
you know
that
the
it can't
whole.
sink. No, the Titanic did
No,
sink though,
well,
so that's a bad
you know the
analogy.
whole thing with it. You know the Joss Whedon Snyder thing with Justice League, right?
I know Joss Whedon's persona non gratis at the moment.
But no, no, but you know what the production of Justice League happened, right?
Uh,
Oh
God,
man,
is
okay, no,
it
this is a whole separate thing. I promise you, it's genuinely interesting. We'll do it as a
okay?
separate thing. Pencil it for now. All right,
Okay,
put a pin
okay.
in it. We're just to flag. If we do it as an episode, we'll have to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is the Zack Snyder recut of the film.
The 4 hour
It's
one.
it's 4 hours long. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you'll watch it and you'll be like, yeah, that wasn't great, but god damn it, compelled me.
It
It's it
compelled
it
me.
comp I think it's very strange
I
and
oh shit, we have 2 minutes.
oh
Let's get
shit.
back to
Can I
Venom.
can I talk about something I love real quick,
Yes.
which is a carryover from the first film, which is the character played by Michelle Williams.
Yes.
In the first film, clearly cast as like a love interest type, right? The level
Yeah.
head to get Eddie on track. In this one,
Yes.
very misplaced because Venom has somehow taken that role of the love interest,
Yes. Yeah.
and now she's this strange ally type character.
Yes, because they
I
don't
think
come back together at the end, do they?
no, because
In
Venom is
fact,
there
in the
now.
end, even Venom is like, Dan is okay.
Yeah, her role is to reunite Venom and Eddie, and it's like the weirdest. This actor was contracted for 2 movies, but we've kind of pivoted, but she's still here. You know, it's I just think that's so funny, and that is kind of I think her role because she's not in the third one. I think her role changing and then being dropped is almost the perfect arc for the three films, where she's the love interest, then she's this weird ally shipper carryover, and then she's dropped because we've gone too far. Right? Like it's the perfect arc for the whole three films, but I just think the fact that she's in this and they have to like contrive a reason for her to be in it, even though it's pretty clear the love interest in this film is the goo monster, is very funny.
It would be nice to have seen her in the third movie, though.
It would have, and again, I think the third movie fails to carry through on the inherent joke of the first two. You know,
Yeah,
it's very it buys into itself too much, but that's a different thing. You haven't seen it,
I have not seen it. It's unlikely, even
will
though I
you?
liked this movie, it's unlikely I'm going to watch the third movie.
Yeah.
I just don't know what I'm going to get out of it that I didn't get from this.
No, everything good is in this one. That even the chickens aren't in the third one. That there's no Sonny and Cher.
Did you genuinely find this funny, or did you only find it funny because you had expectations of a superhero movie?
I think it's really funny. I think whether deliberate or not, most of the things Tom Hardy says and the ways he chooses to say them, as both
Yeah,
Eddie and Venom,
that's our timer.
are very funny. Yes, it's funny. End
Yeah,
of
no,
conversation.
I agree. It is funny. I laughed out loud on my own. I watching this alone, of
Oh, what
course,
bit?
because a couple of bits, not like cracking up laughing, but little chuckles here and there, which is,
Okay.
that's a lot when you're watching a movie alone.
Yeah.
So I do think there was something there. I almost would just love if they were to somehow remove all the superhero movie part of it and really take it to where they want to take it.
I think the reason, and this is to move us away from Venom, because we're done with Venom, because we have to be done with Venom, because we have a 30
Yes,
sec minute
we're
rule
not talking
for a
about
reason.
Venom anymore.
I think the reason why I have
Our
a soft
fans are
spot
really fucking sensitive about that.
is the only thing like I get feedback. Anyway, um, I think the reason why I will like kind of defend the objectively mostly quite bad to absolutely terrible Sony Marvel films is because for the most part they're so confused that they end up not really being conventional superhero films. Like Madam Web is so staggeringly awful that it's one of
Yeah.
my favorite films I watched last year. Not one of my favorite films, one of my favorite films to watch last year, which is a very important distinction.
Okay. Yes,
It's
that is
so funny,
important.
Sean. It's so funny. Watch it drunk though. That's the most important thing. I was very drunk.
That's also another criteria, right? Favorite film
Craven
to watch.
also a
Favorite
disaster.
film to watch drunk.
Morbius is really weird, but Matt Smith's giving a good performance in it because he doesn't know what he doesn't really like by
Who does
mistake.
he play in it?
Um,
Thought Jared Leto was the main guy in that.
Jared Leto was Morbius. Matt Smith is the villain. Milo is his name.
I'm not going to watch Morbius.
it's bad. It's like really bad. But it's again, it kind of it fails so much at being a superhero movie that it almost resurrects the whole. I said this, I mentioned this already. The whole Hammer horror B movie schlock subgenre of comic book
Yeah.
movies, right? Like they fail so spectacularly, it almost becomes a new kind of thing. And I
Was there a
think
thing where they got them to re-release it in cinema?
yes, because the meme "It's Morbin time," which he doesn't
Mhm.
say in the film, but everyone said, everyone online tweeted and shit. My favorite bit of the movie was when he said "It's Morbin time," which isn't a line, and that meme got so viral, and the whole film got a whole meme campaign. And Sony thought, shit, people want to actually go see it. Let's re-release it. No one saw it when it came out again, and they lost a bunch of money.
That's fantastic.
It's great, but no, they're all
But
bad. I'm
I
not defending them.
understand the studio execs struggling to read that because it's kind of like the Minecraft thing, right?
That was either going to be a huge hit or a disaster.
But the
Yeah,
Minecraft reactions, you were kind of like, oh, if we
that's what I mean.
extended our release for Minecraft, I think we could make a lot of money doing that.
They released a meme
But
edition. Do you remember?
yeah, but it also could have easily been, oh, the audience is playing a prank on us as studio execs.
The poor Matt Remix of the world.
Exactly.
Have you watched any other Sony superhero movies?
I don't think so. What else have they done? Madam Web, Morbius, Venom.
Craven.
I definitely have not seen Craven.
No, me neither.
And
I've actually watched.
they just have all the
I watched
Spider-Man
20.
things.
I watched 20 minutes of Craven up until he got mauled by a lion as a child, and then I was like,
Interesting.
that that should have been more exciting than it was.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like it's hard to get like a lion mauling wrong on screen.
Is
It's pretty.
Craven not meant to be a crow, not a lion?
Where the fuck did you get? No, he's a lion.
Craven, like Raven.
No, Craven like he's Craven.
Like he's Craven, of course.
No, like Craven. No, like he's Craven with a C.
Oh, he's craving what?
No, no, Craven, Craven.
What's
That's a
that?
word. I'll
What
get
does
the
that
actual
mean?
definition for
Get
you.
the dictionary out.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
But I thought he was a crow, but now you're making it sound like he was like a Spider-Man that was bit
To
by a
be
lion.
Craven is to be a cowardly person. It's ironic because he has no fear because he survived being mauled by a lion as a child.
Is he like the lion from The Wizard of Oz? He needs to find courage.
No, he's not actually a lion. He's a man who got
He
mauled by a
doesn't
lion.
get bit by a lion and become like Spider-Man, but a lion.
No, he gets kind of. He gets like attacked by a lion and he survives. And in surviving and the treatment, he becomes like strong and athletic and stuff. But the perfect hunter. I haven't seen it, Sean.
We should maybe watch this movie before we, because
No,
we almost,
do you know what? This is an appropriate time to do Venom 2 at the Carnage because I think there's a moratorium now on the Sony Super. I'm pretty sure it's over.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure after Craven was like the lowest grossing superhero film ever, they've called
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah. So
Ah,
it's all over now. So this is the best of them and also our ode to a fallen franchise.
still not sure how I feel about it
Let there be
because it
carnage.
feels like there were too many
Two
breaks on
wolves.
it. Too what?
Never mind.
Too many breaks on it. It was, it never fully realized what it wanted to be, but you just got a good inkling of what they were trying to do. But they obviously couldn't do because they were working with fucking Spider-Man IP.
Yeah, I mean I prefer this to Spider-Man No Way Home.
Is that the third one or the second one?
That's the one with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in it. I prefer this to that.
Third one.
Yeah.
Sure. I like kind of liked those Spider-Man movies. They were fun.
Yeah, so's this. This is more fun.
Yeah, but they were fun in yeah, yeah, yeah.
These feel, and I will, and
This does more.
you'll probably scoff at this, but I'm gonna say it, and it's our last line, and then I'm gonna go to bed. These
Okay.
feel less like studio films in that they kind of feel like Hardy and Marcel and Circus pulling a fast one on their financiers and doing something a little bit
Yeah.
goofy.
These feel like studio films, but the studio is really incompetent.
Yeah, and the studio come in for like checks every now and again, and they're like, "Oh, what's going? Okay, cool. This seems fine."
Whereas it makes it feel more like fucking, Marvel are really on their shit. And if anyone's trying to be creative, they're there to say, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
not in a Marvel movie.
Fantastic Four out mid-July. Can't wait.
I
It's gonna be probably pretty crap.
I have no doubt. Why did they give him that stupid looking head?
What?
They gave him the like mushroom head, the rock guy.
He's made of rocks.
Yeah, but at least when Michael Chiklis played him, he looked cool.
He did look cool. He looked, I think it's
Now
quite
he's like,
sad. No, it's quite sad that the mid 2000s Michael Chiklis version objectively looks quite a bit better than the 2025 height of special effects version. Like quite a bit better.
why did they give him that big fucking like part coming out at the forehead?
Have you seen the new trailer? And there's something in it that I think is going to blow your mind.
I haven't seen it, no.
At
I
one
barely
point,
watch movie trailers for movies I actually want to
based on
see.
the trailer for Fantastic Four, it seems at one point he grows a beard, and the beard is also rocks. There's like a second chunk of rocks growing out of his chin, and I'm so confused by that.
Yeah, fucking,
Like,
what are they
is
doing?
is he just like continuously growing rocks, and he has to like chisel them all the time?
God, this might be a better movie than we think.
They're not going to go into it.
Who
Do you know
knows?
what?
Who knows?
Do you know what I think will be a better movie than you're expecting?
What?
The other superhero movie in July.
The new event. No,
No, you are so
I
out
don't
of
know.
touch. Superman.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That'll
With
be. I reckon that'll
who's
be
the guy who did Super?
the guy did Super and Guardians of the Galaxy, which like I think
Yes,
are
yes.
the
More
closest
famously, Guardians of the Galaxy.
as we've said before. I think the Guardians films are the closest Marvelous MCU has come to making actual Spielbergian fun films and not just products, right? I think this will be good, and I think you'll probably like it. Have you seen anything of it at all?
I saw that they edited the trailer. Sorry, in the second trailer, they had it so that when Superman gets a can thrown at him, he doesn't blink.
Okay, that's
I saw it in
right.
an Instagram reel or something that there was a difference between two trailers.
You know he's a dog now,
Yeah,
the super dog.
yeah, I've seen that.
That's class.
Yeah, sure.
No,
I don't care about Superman. I haven't seen a Superman movie in like I
you know
don't know
we're
10
doing, but
years.
we are doing Superman though.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Why are we doing so many fucking superhero
Fine.
movies?
What are we doing next week, Sean?
Next week we're doing 28 years later.
There you go.
That's not massively removed from
That's a
it's not a
disservice.
superhero movie, but it's not massively removed from
Okay, fine, fine. You know
that
what?
world.
You moan so much about us doing too many blockbusters, not of art house stuff. Pivot. What are we doing next week, Sean? Give me something else.
No, we are definitely doing 28 years later, and I want to do 28 years
And
later.
then
I wanted to do Warfare, but you were really
I'm not doing
didn't
Warfare.
seem into that.
No. I
Why?
I will touch on it in 28 years later because it's Alex Garland.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
But
bye.
it's shit.
It's not. I liked it.
It's loathsome garbage. What are we doing the week after, Sean? What's our next art house project?
Oh, you put me on the spot here. I
I
don't
am,
know.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
you're
not
like
fair.
because you keep being like, oh, we got to
Yeah, but it's
Superman.
easy for you. You can just pick random Marvel movie.
Superman's literally not even Marvel, Sean. There's lots of films I want to do. Eddington is out soon. We'll do that obviously. Um,
Yes, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
F1 is out at the minute.
Oh, I don't care. I don't
Me
care
neither.
about
Me
F1.
neither. Me neither. I'm so
Really
glad you
don't
said
want to
that.
watch that movie.
What else is that? Oh, there's one I wanted to pitch to you that we should do.
Pitch
So
it live.
I'm going to tell you the title, and then we're going
That's
to
not much of a suspense, but
I'm
sure.
I'm going to give you the title, and then we're going to end the podcast because
Okay.
I already know your answer is going to be yes.
Okay.
It's a new Netflix original film.
Mm.
It's animated,
Mm.
and it is called K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, Jesus.